tonight. Raise them up. Bring the fight. Boats hit the floor and the night it ignites. Steel in our veins, yeah, we live for the fight. Dust on our throats and a spark in our chest. We don't back down, we don't second guess. Katie's got the fire, lighting up the flame. Lazy swings hard, yeah, we're carving our name. From the gutter to the stage, from the bar to the sky. We're the voice you hear when the weak don't try. Hear that drum, feel it pounding your bone. No kids here, we take our own thrones. Hey, raise the crew, let them hear the sound. Hey, from the ashes we're burning it down. Hey, no retreat, no fear, no excuse. We are the roar. We are the ToosDay Crüe.
Pins in the air and the chaos grows. Stories get loud where the wild wind blows. With scars and grit, yeah, we paid our dues. Now we're kicking in doors with nothing to lose.
Voices collide like a runaway train. Laugh through the struggle, dance through the pain. If you're standing with us, then you already know. We don't follow lines, we just steal the show. Feel that fire ripping straight through your chest. This ain't a game, it's a war cry test. Hey, raise the crew, let them hear the sound. Hey, from the ashes we're burning it down. Hey, no retreat, no fear, no excuse. We are the roar. We are the ToosDay Crüe. Call 'em in, call 'em home. Through the fire, through the storm. We don't break, we reload. We don't kneel, we explode. Raise the crew, let them hear the sound. Hey, from the ashes we're burning it down. Hey, no retreat, no fear, no excuse. We are the roar. We are the ToosDay Crüe. Day Crüe. ToosDay Crüe. Day Crüe. ToosDay Crüe.
Woo! Misfit Nation, turn it up, because this is the final ToosDay Crüe Show of July. Tonight, we are closing this month with volume cranked all the way up. July has brought the miles, the mission, the changes, and the chaos. But tonight, something feels different. Tonight, the chairs are filled. Tonight, the microphones are hot. And for the first time in what feels like forever, the crew is back together as a team. This is more than two hosts sharing a screen. This is chemistry. This is brotherhood. This is trust, timing, laughter, and the kind of energy that only comes after a team locks back in and starts feeding off each other. One can bring the fire, but when the crew comes together, they bring the whole damn inferno. So forget the long week. Forget the stress. Forget everything that tried to drain your energy, because tonight we are recharging, reconnecting, and setting July out with a show worthy of the crew name. Misfit Nation, jump into that chat. Turn those speakers up. Let the crew know you're here and ready to ride because the team is reunited. The energy is rising. And tonight, we are not quietly closing July. We're blowing the doors off. Make some noise for the reunited, recharged, and ready to roll. Cagney and Lacey. Welcome back, boys. Now let's close this out with a bang. Boom.
See, now, if I had known he was going to be doing that, I would have went on Spotify to go reunited. It feels good.
A little bit of peaches and herb action going there. Oh, how you doing, brother? Been a while.
It has, you did alone, I did alone. We did nothing, and then wow, we're back.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. It's great to be back. I was on the road all week last week. Spent the week in Oklahoma, butchering chickens, building fence, doing whatnot. Had a good time, and had to change a blowout in the middle of Arkansas on I-57 the other day. That was kind of warm, but I made it home just fine. So here we are.
Fantastic. We are back.
Yes,
The brothers
we are.
hanging.
Yes, we are. Yes, we
They
are.
are back.
And ready to go. Ready to go.
All right, Misfit Nation, we're so glad you're joining us for another conversation with someone who's proven that you don't have to fit the mold to make a massive impact. Tonight's guest is someone who bet on herself in one of the toughest industries imaginable and won.
That's right. Anna Redmond is the founder and CEO of Brav, a physical security company that's built around protecting people while actively hiring veterans. What's incredible is that Anna didn't come from the military. She didn't come from law enforcement. She didn't even come from the security industry. She came from Harvard and venture capital. Most people would have stayed in their comfort zone and, just do what they do. But she chose to leave it all behind and start from scratch.
Imagine walking into a room where nobody knows you, nobody trusts you, and you have absolutely zero experience in the field you're trying to build a business in. That's exactly what Anna did. 5 years later, she earned the respect and trust of veterans, first responders, and clients across the country. Not because someone handed it to her, because she earned it.
And now she's doing something that's never been done before. Through her newest company, AllCoin, she's preserving one of the most meaningful traditions in military and first responder culture by creating the first platform that allows challenge coins to be digitized, authenticated, and permanently preserved on the blockchain. It's innovation without losing tradition.
And his work has been featured by Forbes, Security Journal Americas, and Tech News World. But tonight isn't about headlines. It's about courage. It's about trust. It's about leadership. And it's about what happens when someone refuses to begin to let being an outsider define their future.
So, whether you're an entrepreneur, a veteran, leader, someone chasing a dream, or simply looking for inspiration, you're going to want to walk away from this conversation, or you're going to walk away from this conversation with something valuable. So, grab your favorite beverage, jump into the comments, let us know where you're watching from. Don't be shy about asking questions because we'll be bringing some of your comments into the show.
Misfit Nation, help us give a huge welcome to founder, CEO, entrepreneur, innovator, and the creator of AllCoin, Anna Redmond. Good evening, Anna. Welcome to the show. Your mute button.
Gosh.
There
I
you go.
learned all of the complicated things, and it was the easiest one. Can we skip the part where I went to Harvard? Can you edit that out? They didn't cover microphones. There wasn't a class on that.
Hopefully there's no Yaleys in our listening tonight that are going to make fun of you for that.
I mean, they can try, but they suck. So that intro was incredible. I think we're done, right? Like, what else is there to say? You guys said it all. I think we could just kick back and like have some beers.
Well, we want to hear your story. We just gave the like 2-minute version of it. We built you up, and now we want you to jump out and say, "Damn, I did this, and I can't believe it actually worked."
I
That's
love
what
it.
we want to know.
Well, I'll start with this. Your industry, like you guys are very nice. I will say that. I think I came in, you laid out this framework of I walked into a totally different space. You're totally right. Had no experience whatsoever. I had a very firm conviction that I understood the client side problem, which I did, but I completely knew nothing about security. And honestly you'll laugh at this, I had seen veterans and first responders on TV. Like that was my background. So the first couple of times I walked into the room, I was like, where's the dramatic music? Where's the super gruff guy that stands up and slams his hand on the table and says, like, you're out of your lane? But everyone was really kind. Just genuinely, I think if there's one thing that I truly, truly enjoy about being in this space, it's being with people who are service-oriented and mission-driven. And I would say, for the most part, a lot of you are. Like there's that North Star of wanting to be a patriot, a helper, a protector. And I hadn't seen that in the same way in any other industry that I had worked in. And it was really inspiring.
I just can't get over, having the courage to do what you did.
I think you come from a background of a lot of people with a lot of courage. So it's interesting to me and very flattering and much appreciated that you say that. But I think that I will say I don't think veterans hear that enough from civilians. Like we talk about all sorts of kinds of courage, right? Like, oh, someone took a risk, they made a big investment, or they built a company. Like, I think I have now, especially having built this Challenge Coin platform, I have now heard so many stories that just floored me. And there's no risk like the risk that a person takes with his or her life, right? When they decide to serve. And I have tremendous, tremendous appreciation and respect and gratitude for that. And honestly, when I go on podcasts that are not military veteran podcasts, that are civilian oriented podcasts, that's the thing I talk about the most, because I feel like I'm talking to myself from 10 years ago when I watched stuff on TV, right? And the reality of it didn't sink in. But thank you. I think it takes a little bit of single-mindedness and maybe stupidity to just sort of dive into something that you don't know at all and be like, I'll figure it out.
Well, everybody has to take that leap. But I've worked retail for a long time, and I've gone from like hardware to grocery and now to cars. I know how to manage. Learning the rest of it is, what you have to do after that. I walked into the car business and I knew how to change oil. I know how to change spark plugs, but I don't know the first damn thing about half the things to do. But I was a manager, and I can go in and say, I can manage your business. I can manage it blindfolded. I just got to learn what you do, Running it is one thing, learning it is a different thing. And that's exactly what you did. You said, I'm going to do this, and you went into it, and then you learn from there.
No, I
That's the
think
best way sometimes, you know.
I think that's exactly right. And you know, I've talked to a number of veterans and first responders who sort of for their second career want to do something in business. And I love to tell them, I think they're so well equipped, right? Like the skill set transfers so well, and the risks, you know, they're social risks, right? They're less scary risks. They're risks from which you can, you know, fall down and get back up again every single time.
Now, your security business, is it home security? Is it business security, cyber security? What kind of security business is
Yeah,
it?
so we, you know, I came into the industry because I saw a big gap, and that gap specifically was around the provisioning of fractional CSO services for mid-sized businesses. So if you're a Fortune 500, of course, you have a full-time head of security who's, you know, hopefully amazing. But there were a ton of human resources departments of sizable companies, but not huge ones, where, you know, someone had the bright idea of handing the security infrastructure to the head of human resources, who was often someone who had absolutely no security background but was making decisions like, you know, are we hiring guards, are we putting in cameras, where do the cameras go, how many guards, there was an incident, how do you follow up, are we in compliance, what kind of training are we doing, there's an executive traveling to country X. Is it safe? How unsafe is it? How do we prepare for it? And eventually those questions would pile up to the point where the human resources lead would frankly feel very uncomfortable, very, very uncomfortable making those decisions without the proper background. But the problem was that they didn't have, you know, they had an option to bring in someone full time. And most companies would say, well, we don't need someone for 40 hours a week. But gosh, they really needed someone for 2 hours a week or 12 hours a month or 20 hours a month. So we developed, I think we didn't invent the wheel, but what we did is we made it fit we made it fit the need. So we were able to bring in amazing fractional chief security officers, most of whom were either former veterans or first responders. We actually work with a few active duty folks too, who are able to carve out sort of consulting hours for us. And we were able to parachute them into mid-sized businesses, HR departments, into commercial property managers, infrastructures, and we work with some high net worth individuals. And people just loved having, you know, what I began to call sort of think of the Bain or McKinsey model, but for security. So super high end, consultative, extremely smart, someone that can come in and isn't going to leave you with a homework assignment, but is actually going to solve your problem. Because that was the thing, like HR teams didn't need another thing on their to-do list. They needed someone to come in and just say, check mark, it's done. Don't worry about it. And by the way, if something comes up, here's my number. You call me. I will show up, or I will hop on a Zoom, and I will be the owner of this burden, of this responsibility. And that really resonated. And I knew that it would resonate going in. And by the way, the backside of that is so when our clients need more, right? When they don't need just the consulting, they're like, okay, great, you came in, you told us what we need, but now someone has to bring in the camera people, hire and vet the security guards. Our CSOs can take care of that as well, and they can be lead and point on that. And so it really resonated with clients, and I began to work in that way with a ton of veterans and first responders. And I'll tell you, early on, I was very, very careful to carve out where I thought I had sort of expertise and authority, and where I was absolutely confident that I did not. Because the last thing I wanted to do, even from a legal perspective, right, is to say like, oh, I know security. I clearly didn't. I did a bunch of homework, right? Like I took a ton of classes. I actually went and I got my guard card in the state of California because I was curious, like, what is that process like? But I really made sure that I was both deferring to them and making it very clear that I respected their expertise in that realm.
Well, back in the early 2000s, I did security for 6 years, and when I had to go get the state license saying I can do it, it was basically videos from like the 70s that they showed us. It was like all this outdated stuff. Oh yeah, just sit here for 8 hours. Like, oh my God. It was no like real world. It was like watching, Emergency or Chips on TV, laughing the whole time because it was just silly videos. But then they gave you a card that you were a licensed security guard.
Mine was on a computer,
Mhm.
and it was a slide deck. It was like, look at this slide deck, answer these questions. I was like, I think I could figure out how to answer some questions, but you're right. It's not very inspiring. And so beyond that, I was curious. I took a couple classes that were offered in my area for people who either wanted to up level, their personal security capabilities, or for security professionals. And one of them I'll never forget, because I walked into a class that was taught by, I think he was a former Navy SEAL, and he was talking about how easy it is for someone to take your gun away if you're not careful with it. And I just didn't believe it, not because I was trying to be, sassy or obnoxious. It just didn't make sense to me. I was like, wait a minute, but on TV, if you have the gun, you win. Like, that's just how it works. And he said to me, he was like, when we run a scenario, I'll take your gun away. And I had sort of an unloaded airsoft gun that the conceit was if I managed to point it at him and pull it, I sort of completed it successfully. And within 30 seconds, not 30 seconds, I think it was within 4 seconds, I was on my back on the floor with his hands around my neck.
Wow.
I was like, okay, I learned that lesson. That makes more sense now.
Somebody like him is taught how to pretty much strip a gun while it's in your hand and you wouldn't even know it. So yeah, I can see that happening.
We got a comment from one of the folks in here. You was talking about people who need security. He was saying that HR needs security, especially when there are firings or layoffs. And that's from Eagle Talon 457. He is actually an executive security specialist. And I've known this guy forever. And he said he was going to get on here and ask some questions and see if he could just, I don't know, he won't play stump the chump, but he will ask some pretty interesting questions, I'm sure.
I love it.
Well, what I've noticed working through the years, you got big companies that'll have cameras all over the store. They don't have security. They have the cameras to see you do something and to show it to the police, but they don't actually have security in the building, and that's very strange. And these are big multi-million-dollar companies. They'll have all the state-of-the-art cameras, but not a damn security guard in the building.
Well, I'll tell you, we work with clients all too often who will have expensive camera systems, but no one is watching them. And we will often ask facilities managers, how often are these monitored? And they don't know sometimes. And it's sort of like, oh, shucks, I got an F. Hold on, let me redo my homework. That's why we generally say one of the most underused tools for businesses, I think, is penetration testing. And when we run it, I have an amazing team, and they only do social engineering, right? Like opportunity or social engineering. No one's like rappelling out of helicopters. It's not James Bond. And they get in every time, almost every time, because someone leaves the door unlocked, because there's a camera pointed, but no one's watching the camera. So no one knows that there's some guy jiggling the doorknob for 30 minutes. I think that security is underutilized. And one of our missions is to get easily accessible security operatives into more corporations, more cheaper than they think generally. And that's part of the reaction when people work with us. They're like, oh, it's actually reasonably affordable, certainly more affordable than a lawsuit or a fine from a government entity because they're out of compliance, or God forbid, someone getting actually injured.
Right.
Yeah. And you talking about that security like that, we always went into buildings because somebody would always stick a rock in the door of the smoking area so the door didn't lock behind them. And that's one of the easiest places that I found to get into a building.
Yeah. I went to work a month and a half ago, and I had a delivery guy in the back of my store standing there, and one of the employees had left his car in a lot, so he thought people were in the building, and one of the doors I found out was broken. He walked in thinking somebody was in the building, set the alarm off. He's like, I will never touch your door again. I'm like, I sure hope not. I don't need to have the cops standing there when I walk into a business because you thought somebody was in the building. Yeah.
Yes.
100%. And another thing we see is that companies don't have processes for raising concerns. So one part is getting into the building, but then after your team member is in, how long can they stay in? And it's crazy how long you can have someone walking around, wandering into offices, picking up files, and no one will say anything because they assume, well, if they're in the building, they're supposed to be there. It's probably someone from another office or another department. Like, gosh, I'm not going to say anything. And all it takes is one training session, right? Like, hey, if you see someone, here's the process that you follow. I think the most effective security is boring security, right? It's just
Yes.
like checking the box on making sure processes are followed.
Right.
Yeah. Because a lot of you go in there and you act like you're supposed to be there, but people won't give you a second look.
Yeah.
And Eagle has it right 100%. Most companies usually wait till something catastrophic happens before they take it seriously. That's very true.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate. But I think on the plus side, we're working on changing that. And I will say, generally, people are very appreciative when we come in, and when we run employee trainings, they're not nodding through them like they are through, I don't know, the anti-bullying training or whatever. I mean, and no offense to that either. I think all of those are great and there's a place for them. But people have genuine concerns and they appreciate having a place to raise them, whether it's, hey, I've been worried about the parking lot, or, I've been watching all this active shooter stuff on the news and I'm really nervous. Like, what would we do if it happened here? And that obviously is super, super low probability. And we tell clients that every time. But it's nice to be prepared, because if you're prepared for that, you're also prepared for, the power outage, the fire, the whatever else can come up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Now, Anna, you got into all this, and, trust in any community is earned, and especially in the military, first responder communities. Was there a moment when you realized that you had finally crossed the line from being the outsider to somebody that they genuinely trust?
Oh gosh. I think there were probably lots of small moments, but the big ones were really the challenge coins for me. Like and that was what launched this whole other side of the business. But I was gifted a couple of challenge coins by some of my early colleagues and advisors. And before they gave them to me, I had no clue what they were. But there was a sense of the importance in the interaction and how they were given. And then I began to research what they were. And I was like, wow, this is an amazing tradition. It just felt so meaningful. And that kind of, and I think trust actually plays such a large part in what we're building with the challenge coin community, specifically because it's such an inside group type of thing, right? Like there are certain things where if you see them, you really know something about a person. And since we launched, I've had people tell me like, gosh, if I saw someone had a specific coin, I'd really want to get to know them. Maybe I'd want to hire them more. Maybe I'd want to hang out with them. So that was, that was a big turning point for me.
And now you do follow the rule that if somebody pulls out their challenge coin and you don't have one, next round's on you, right?
Always. But I will tell you, it's interesting. I've heard a bunch of different versions of this, and now you have to tell me what your version is. I've heard like if you pull out a coin and someone doesn't have another coin, then they lose. But I've heard a different version, which is you see whose coin is better. And then you get to debate like, oh, I have an Army Ranger coin. Well, I have a, President whatever coin. Well, I have this coin. And then I heard a different one, which is you have to have, if it's someone that you have the same coin as, like if it's someone from your police department or from your unit, you have to pull out the same coin. So I'm curious what the version is that you follow, or is it all of them?
In my career field, when I was in the military, I was an EOD technician, and we all had coins. And if you pulled one out to check and see if somebody had one, if they didn't have one, they owed a round. If they did have one, you had to buy them a round for producing the challenge. Now, there's other challenges. If somebody pulls out a coin from, that they got from like a military brigade commander or brigade sergeant major or whatever, and somebody else pulls out one that they got from the sergeant major of the Army, well, the guy with the one from the sergeant major of the Army wins. That's because it's a higher coin. But that's generally how that works.
One of the things I've enjoyed is asking people which coin is higher, and sometimes there's disagreement.
Well, that's like me, and I'm a little biased, but to me, there's none higher than an EOD coin. So that's all I really care about.
I love it. That's awesome. Yeah. So I have actually never had anyone challenge me in a bar. So maybe I should go to a bar where that will happen, because I feel like that would be a great story for me to tell on the next podcast. Which bar in LA should I check out?
Some cop bar.
Yeah.
I've been to LA one time, and I didn't leave anything there, so I will probably never go back.
Well,
have you had your own coins made?
We have our digital coins. These ones we had not yet minted them, but we will very soon. Where I wanted to figure out if I wanted to. This was the first digital coin that we made, and I've been trying to figure out if we want to use that one or do a little bit of a redesign. Have you guys had a coin made? Oh, that's beautiful. I love it. I'd love to have it on our platform.
Well,
that's a nation coin.
Yeah,
that's why I asked if you had your own made.
The producer is listening, so you can probably definitely get one of those.
That's amazing, and I'd love to digitize it and put it in our coin library so that other holders of it can put it on their profiles. Is now a good time to share a little bit about the Challenge Coin project?
Hey, it's your show.
It's your show. We're just hanging out with you.
Oh,
yeah, we're just hanging out.
Well, then I have a lot of questions for you guys.
Okay.
But first of all, I'll give you kind of the lay of the land. The reason that we launched AllCoin fundamentally, as you said it, is because we felt that the coins were very fragile, and certainly not physically fragile, right? I mean, they're hard coins, they're metal, they last a long time, but to us, the most important part of the coin was actually not the metal, it was the story behind it. Who gave it to you, what you did, what happened, who else holds the coin, right? When did you get it? How long have you held it? And those are the pieces that we over and over again saw people losing, because the information about the coins really goes back to like the oldest tradition that we have as human beings, which is oral storytelling, right? It's not recorded anywhere. There isn't a book. No one writes it down formally, right? You can if you want to. But because of that, people would point to beautiful challenge coin walls behind them, but then tell me that they forgot, what the last name is of the guy that gave me that one, or I forgot the date. And, probably more sadly, we talked to a lot of older veterans who would say things like, when I'm no longer here, my grandkids will have no clue what these are. Gosh, I hope they don't throw them away. And so we set out to change that. And our platform does that in two ways. The first, and this is free to veterans and first responders forever, they can digitize their existing coin. So if I have a physical coin, I can upload it. Actually, this coin is right here in the corner. I can upload it. The platform looks sort of like, it's been called the LinkedIn of challenge coins or the Facebook of challenge coins, because you have a profile and then the coins are all there. They turn in space. It looks very pretty. And there's room for you to put in your user-generated memories of the coin. The other thing that we're doing, which I'm also super excited about, is we've actually developed a special blockchain version of a challenge coin, which lives on the public ledger that is blockchain, right? So it's has perfect provenance. Once you put it there, there's a lot of security around it. You can't edit it. You can prove and verify who gave it to you, can prove and verify if it was transferred or gifted. And that we do charge for. We charge organizations for, and we have a handful of organizations that are early on the platform, including Freedom 250, including our coins, the physical coins with digital twins will actually be in the White House gift shop very soon, which I'm very excited about, in the Navy mess gift shop. And that whole ecosystem is intended to give people an opportunity to prove the provenance of their coin. And I'd love to invite your viewers to check it out and let me know what they think. But that's sort of what we set out to do. And our vision for the future is that pretty soon, every single coin that's minted, every single physical coin will have a digital twin, so that no one has to go and take a photo of it and upload notes. It'll already be in their digital coin wallet page at the same time that they receive the coin.
All right. Well, I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
That's a fantastic way of backlogging that and keeping it. I was watching one of our sister shows, Homefront Sit Rep, and they have hundreds behind them, the two hosts, but they can sit there and they can pull one off and they tell you exactly every one they pull off that wall. Reach back, grab it, say, oh, I got this here and this is this, and how they're showing it to their kids. And now with this, that would be fantastic. So it's a memory that can go on and on past that.
Yeah, and what's fun is, we were early, right? We're less than half a year into our launch of this product. And so we're building a ton. And one of my advisors has been kicking around with me like, okay, how do you create a digital version of the challenge coin challenge, right? Like if you're not sitting in a bar, but you want to sort of digitally tap a friend on the shoulder. So we're probably within the next 1 to 2 months, we're going to launch something that you can check out. But if you have an opinion, the thing that we're playing with now is like, maybe you issue a digital challenge to someone and then they have a limited time to reply and send you a coin. And if they fail, then they owe you a drink next time that you see them. If they succeed, maybe we send both of you, 10% off of some veteran-owned business. I haven't talked to them yet, but I'm just going to throw this out into the ether. Maybe Black Rifle Coffee would love to be a part of it, and then I'll talk to them about what that would look like.
I'd save a mint if I got 10% off of Black Rifle Coffee.
I love it. Well, they're on my outreach list.
Awesome. Hey, we got some questions popping in here.
Jake, are you a mind reader? I was just thinking that.
Bro, it's like,
yeah, we're just shooting the waves out tonight. Ed Hunk of Beef wants to know if an organization like, say, the Misfit Nation, saying they have coins, joined you in digitizing, what's the cost involved to the organization and, say, the viewers?
That's a great question. Right now, the cost is $1 per coin if it's digitized on the blockchain. So that means that we are paying gas fees, we're setting it up, we've built out the whole digital object. If all you're doing is you're taking a coin that you have and you're snapping a photo of it, that is free and that will always be free. So, but if by digitize we mean that we are issuing a new blockchain object for you, that's $1 a coin.
okay. $1 times a shoebox. So
exactly.
And just to be clear, we would only do that with the issuer of the coin. So we actually manually verify that the issuer is authentic, because we don't want, some dude in a basement issuing a bunch of digital coins saying that he's the FBI and kind of handing them out to everyone. So that's why if you have, a handful of disparate coins, like different coins in a shoebox, those would for free just be displayed on your page, unless the issuer of those coins reached out and said, hey, I'm okay with turning those into a digital object and you have my blessing to do that.
Okay. All right.
But in this case, you guys are the issuer of your coin. And now that I'm on your show, I see that you are who you say you are. So you could certainly do that.
All right.
All right, the next question is going to take a step backwards. Okay. Well,
that I'm solving.
Thank you, Eagle.
Right.
All right, at Salami Club wants to know, you entered an industry where you had no credibility. What was the single hardest moment where you questioned whether you belonged?
Yeah, it was definitely a great question. It was definitely at the beginning. I have no ego, so I'm fine admitting this. Early on, when I started meeting with prospective partners, because we initially, before we landed on the fractional CSO model, we ran a bunch of different tests, and I was meeting with heads of private security companies for sort of fact-finding and information. I made my husband go with me. I'm not even kidding you, because I watched too much TV, honestly. I had this perception that my ideas wouldn't be well received. And then the exact opposite happened. And I think what really helped me in those moments is people really took me seriously. I did my homework. And so I came in having read a bunch, having talked to a lot of people, having looked at a lot of data. And then by the kinds of conversations that we engaged in, it was obvious that I was adding something to the conversation. And I just want to backtrack. My husband, his firm did put an investment into Brav early on, so there was a somewhat legitimate reason for him to be there beyond just me roping my husband into random stuff. But yeah,
moral support.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think that it's often very hard for people to take risks, like social risks, because you're worried about being embarrassed. And if anything, this has taught me that the world has become so full of accessible information if you want it and if you know where to look. And AI became a thing after I launched Brav, right? So I didn't even have the benefit of AI. But this has made me feel, and I tell my kids this too, like if you really want it, and if you're genuinely interested, and if you're willing to put in the work, you could dive into any industry and you could learn enough about it very quickly. And you could do meaningful, interesting work. And it's been exciting, and it's been very validating. Oh yeah, and do hard things. I don't know who wrote that, but that's great. I love that.
One of our favorite ones. Do hard things.
Yes, it is. Yes, and our producer is always harping on us to get out of our comfort zone, and so that's what we do.
The first thing earlier when you said, when you thought about going into security, how you watch this and you watch this and you're learning and you saw, oh, I could do that. First thing I thought of was Tom Cruise in Days of Thunder. What makes you think you can drive a race car? Well, I watched a lot of races on TV. Oh, okay. Let's get you in a $1 million car. Let you go around the track.
For sure. And I think you never know. And I will say the only thing that I was very, very careful never to take any risks with our clients.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is a space where we're not selling lipstick, right? Like and even by the way, lipstick killed a bunch of women when they put the wrong ingredients in it. So that can be dangerous too. But the point is, you do need to learn enough to know what you know and what you don't know. And I always, when it came to decisions that impacted people's safety, I always made sure that we had our I's dotted, T's crossed, that we were working with experts, that I'd consulted my legal team to make sure that we were squarely where we were supposed to be.
Good. And, I can pretty much tell by just sitting here talking to you that the people that you hire, you probably surrounded yourself with some pretty smart people. And, and I kind of take a lesson from my father on that. And he's like, look, he said, you don't have to know everything. You just got to hire people that know what you don't know. And I've always kind of lived by that, and kind of, hey, if I want to be an expert in this, I learn as much about it as I can, and then hire an expert. And so, yeah, and I think it's a service that's needed. And I think that I think you're just going to keep rolling and keep getting bigger and bigger. I think that's how that's going to.
Exactly.
Thank you for the confidence. Yeah, no, and I love. Yeah, I think that's what I love about building a business in America. I think that there really is this entrepreneurial cowboy mentality that is missing in other places. And I was just talking to an entrepreneur the other day who, super smart, grew up in the UK, and was like, yeah, I would want to build something. Like, I came to the US because I want to build something. And I am a naturalized citizen. I wasn't born here. So I have oh, hey, I love it. That's a fabulous comment. Travis is the best. I had the best time on his show. But yeah, I think that there's something really special about being an entrepreneur in the US.
Oh, you don't have anything out there but air and opportunity.
And if you don't take a step, you never know if it's worth it. So that's always.
That's right. Now, got another question here. It's about the coins. Are you making an alternative to crypto?
It's not an alternative. It is on the blockchain, right? So crypto's on the blockchain, and so effectively what we're creating are NFTs, non-fungible tokens. NFTs got a really bad rap a couple of years ago because there were people bidding them up and tanking them. So we've sort of steered our wording away from that and towards blockchain, which is what it is fundamentally. But yeah, I think so we use a cryptocurrency, a blockchain, the SWE blockchain and the SWE currency to pay for the gas transactions. We really like this blockchain that we've chosen to build on. It was a very concerted decision based on a bunch of research. And we see it not as an alternative, as like a broadening, right? It's sort of like when crypto and blockchain were in its infancy, they were used for a specific number of use cases. And now as they're growing and developing, you can use them for more and more. And the reason why the challenge coins were such a natural fit is because it's an ecosystem of people who are already familiar with it as an object. And blockchain just lets them translate that whole tradition into a digital space. The thing that you probably that this user probably wanted to ask me also is whether there's a monetary component attached to the sale of the coins. And we've been kicking that around for a very long time. I think within the next year, we probably are going to launch a marketplace which will allow people to resell their coins. So at that point, there will be a monetary number attached. And some of the coins may become very valuable. Others may have sort of mostly like emotional value. But we chose not to do that right away because of all of the experiences that other builders have had with blockchain technology and products, where when they've opened them up too early to the ecosystem, they've had people come in speculatively and try to bid things up and then tank them, right? You all those meme coins that have like shot up in price then crashed. Mm-hmm. And because the challenge coins have such emotional resonance, it would have killed us to do that to any specific coin, right? Like if there was a coin that people started to speculate on, and then all of a sudden it lost a bunch of value. It could still happen, right? Obviously, if we open something up to the market, that's the nature of the market, right? Things get more expensive, they get less expensive. It's the intersection of supply and demand. But we don't want to do that early on. Early days, we want to attract the right audience. And the right audience for us is not the speculator audience. It's the veteran, first responder, active duty audience so that they can really help us build the right foundation for the ecosystem. Hopefully that makes sense.
I sure hope so. I have a question here. I don't know if you're a NASCAR fan, so it might not be for you. But I'm going to put it up. Me and Jacob might be able to answer it. Rowdy Rules wants to know, what is your opinion on NASCAR lowering the horsepower on the cars, going from nearly 900 horsepower during Gen 5 and 6 to only 750 horsepower now? Honestly, I think it's all about safety. I don't like the fact that, they're not, Tom Cruise going Mach 5 with his hair on fire. But, it's keeping people alive, and the races are still good races. It's just, how they run the races is what's, changing the world. It's not the cars themselves. Because you never know, in 5 years they might go electric and it'll just be buzzing going around the track. And they're all the same electric motor, and it could be, I don't know
what it'd be like to go to a track and not have to wear ear protection.
Well, I'm almost deaf. I don't really need to wear too much ear protection,
but I'm kind of like you, Stephen. I think that when they started making changes to the cars, if in some of these newer cars, if you put 900 horsepower in them, they can't keep them on the ground.
Right.
And until they get the body and frame to catch up with the horsepower that they're producing in these engines, I think this is probably something safe to do.
And hopefully that answers that question. Next one's for you, Anna.
I love it.
At Fresh Fruit wants to know, what did veterans teach you about leadership that traditional business education never could? Thank you
Oh,
for that
that's a good
question.
question. I love that one. I think definitely a sense of service, and a sense of needing and enjoying mission that's beyond self. It was something that was so overwhelming to me when I first sort of, I guess, joined this community, became I guess, first sort of an outsider, then worked my way maybe a little bit closer in. I have worked with a lot of different people in a lot of different industries over my career. Some of them have been very nice. There are nice people everywhere, but this sense of putting something above self, I haven't seen it anywhere as pervasively as within the sort of security ecosystem, which pulls in a lot of former service members and first responders. And the other thing I think is do hard things. I mean, you put it on your show. Most industries don't say that. In fact, I would venture to suggest most people say, how can we make it easier, right? Like, how can we make the pillow softer? How can we make the buffet bigger? How can we, make it simpler, faster, easier? And one of my advisors, Dave Weiner, who's absolutely fabulous, he and I went to talk to a client, and it was a very sunny day. And I kept trying to move into the shade. And he was standing in the sun, and I was like stupefied. I was like, Dave, don't you want to move into the shade? He's like, nah, it's okay. You know, what did he didn't say do hard things. I think he said some variant of it, but basically that it was good not to just be thinking about your personal comfort all the time. And I thought about that. I just turned it over in my brain over and over again. And I was like, man, no one has ever said that to me. Which I guess tells you about the kinds of spaces I've been in. But but I truly enjoyed it, and I think a lot of people would be better off hearing that message more.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good message. Yeah, take your mind off yourself, put it out toward others, and think about their comfort. Think about. Curious, anybody see my coin collection from the above link?
What's the above link?
It was Oscar Mike Radio mission -AL6081. I don't know if that's what I'm looking at. So I don't know, I'm guessing that. I don't know.
And I'll answer a question. And I will answer a question here. I'm not going to post it up here, but it's for Eagle Talon 457. Yes, I do remember.
All right, I have one more question for you. I'm sorry. And one of my favorite listeners at Bama Sucks 9 wants to know, how do you earn trust from communities that are naturally skeptical of outsiders? Thank you, Bama Sucks 9, for that question.
Yeah, I think I'll answer that in two parts. I think skeptical is better than judgmental, and I know that, and I will say in general for the security space, definitely I can see how people can be skeptical of me, but they didn't come in with a chip on their shoulder, a lot of judgment. There are other spaces that I have also been in where maybe I naturally belonged more, but where people were extraordinarily, full of themselves and judgmental. And that was harder, honestly. That was genuinely harder to overcome and more frustrating. But I will say, walking into situations where it was very clear that I did not have, I didn't have the credentials, I didn't have the background. I did a couple of things that I think helped a lot. I was very clear about what I didn't know. So I would come and I would say, look, I don't know security. You know security. That's why you're here. If I am making a decision that is stupid or reckless or unsafe, you need to stop me, because I know that I don't know that. The thing that I do know is I know the customer problem that we're here to solve. So I can advocate very, very clearly on behalf of the customer. I've talked to a lot of them. I understand that. And I think that really helped. And I had some early interactions where people were feeling unsure of working with me. And then I would just address that out in the open. And I would see, and I think I would see perspectives shift. And then I was also, it's funny early on. So I took, I took that class that I mentioned about like self-defense, and then kind of pivoting off of that, I was curious, and I actually started taking, I'm like absolutely terrible at it, but I started taking some kickboxing classes. I thought it was interesting, not directly related to security at all, but sort of getting out of my comfort zone. And so I was talking to a former police officer, and we were working on a potential partnership, and he was sort of representing a security company. And maybe there had been an incident on the news or something, but we sort of got onto the question of sort of like what appropriate police response is. And I could tell that he was very frustrated, and he asked me, not by anything I had said, but I guess he'd had some previous interaction. He said, it's so frustrating to talk to people. I mean, I'm not even going to talk to anyone if they've never been punched in the face. Have you been punched in the face? And I think he expected me to say no. And I said, well, honestly, very softly, but yes. And he was very interested. He was like, oh, really? And I said, well, I mean, just to be clear, not in any situation at all analogous to what you go through. But yes, I didn't enjoy it. It was very disorienting. And he really appreciated that. And he even said, he made some comment to the effect of he appreciated that I got enough out of my comfort zone to kind of see what that felt like and to try to understand. And so I think there's an element of that, of just being willing to go in and be bad at something and to admit that you're bad at it and let people watch you be bad at it. And we could do a whole podcast on, like, I probably have like 10 stories like that of things that I tried that I sucked at, that I let other people see me fail at. But in a weird way, I think it kind of built credibility because they saw me appreciating their skill set, as opposed to assuming that I would just sail in and be fully competent.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to fail. And you like all of us, we've been knocked down before and get right back up because we're here today.
Yes. And Travis, post that link again, because I didn't see it in the chat. The link you wanted to see if we could see your coins. I didn't see it in the chat, so if you post it again, we'll check it out. I'm sorry about that. I was just reading. Leaders must make decisions based on all the available information. Yes, that's true. Getting input from team members, and it's gone. Using ownership in the situation comes. Yes, very, very good on that one. All right, Jake.
So, Anna. Oh.
Ooh, I like that.
We got one more question.
He clapped his hand when the question pops up.
From Gamora Devetta. If you could give one piece of advice, to someone considering a major career leap into an industry they know nothing about, what would it be?
I think go for it, first of all. In terms of just pure personal growth and enjoyment, I've been so happy these last 5 years, because I think when you are considering a leap into something that you know nothing about, it's for a reason, right? Like there's something pulling you there. You have some core fundamental interest, some sense that that you belong there, that you're interested. So from that perspective, I would say like you're really going to enjoy life. So go for it. And then I think the other piece of advice is, yeah, I think that's good, is surround yourself with people who know the space. Get as many advocates in your corner as you possibly can, and go in with a lot of humility, and hopefully I'm good at that. I certainly try to be, and know what you don't know, but be willing to learn. And then also don't assume that just because something's been done the same way for 50 years or 100 years that it's right. There's always an opportunity to thoughtfully challenge the status quo.
All right. Yeah, it definitely challenge the status quo. Definitely.
Well, like
Okay.
sort of like with this show right here, what we do, you're talking about the military and what things they do. When there's a military question, Jake filled it. When there's a business question, I filled it, because we know what our strengths are. So it's like we have each other's back all the time. You have to have somebody to have your back and be able to answer questions and tell people what they need to know.
And if you want to know what the best Italian restaurant is on the planet, you just ask.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, I need to know. I love Italian.
Oh, you don't want to know.
It's Olive Garden. Come on.
You did not want to know that.
Well, you know what? Maybe then if you do a challenge coin challenge and both of you do it, then you get free breadsticks. Should I talk? I think that maybe we get Olive Garden as a sponsor.
My goodness.
Okay, so Anna, if somebody wants to reach out and get a hold of you,
I love it. Yeah, I would first of all say, if you're checking out AllCoin, we're early. It's less than half a year old. I want to hear all of it. And in fact, I want to hear the criticism probably more than the praise, because we're still building. Like if you come back in 6 months, it'll be in a month, it'll be better. So thank you. That's the site. You click sign up, you create a profile, and you're in. My email is Anna, ANNA @brav.co, which, did I put that? Oh, I didn't put it in my, maybe I'll edit my profile right now to put that in there. But I read all my emails, I answer all my emails, and any challenge coin enthusiast who has ideas or wants to talk to me for any reason whatsoever, please reach out. And then we're also bringing on a bunch of different nonprofits to both digitize their coins, and we're doing some limited gifts of digital challenge coins to nonprofits that want to distribute them. So very eager to talk to those folks as well. But yeah, I reach out. I'm so excited to talk to all of you. And if there's anything else that I can be of help or service with to the community, I'm all ears. Thanks so much, Travis.
All right. Well, we know how to get in touch with you. We know the website. Now, are you ready for the lightning round?
I love it. I'm in.
All right. Well,
All right, you ready?
Steven, you're up first.
What the hell was that? All right, coffee or tea? Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Best leadership book you ever read?
Ooh, I've really liked, man, I'm going to garble the title, but it's something about like the power of being disliked, or the ability to be disliked, basically around like, you don't always have to have everyone like you, which I think was valuable.
So I would say you don't have to like me, you have to work for me. One word that defines courage.
I think sacrifice.
All right. Biggest misconception people have about entrepreneurs?
Ooh, gosh, that they're all obnoxious. Only some of them.
Okay. What's one challenge coin story that still gives you chills?
Oh gosh, I've heard so many. Foof. I think if I had to pick one, one of my advisors is an incredible human being. He's an active duty Navy SEAL. And when the very tragic flooding at Camp Mystic in Texas happened, he
Mhm.
dropped everything. There was no command structure. There was no one deploying him. He just went. He just went to help. And he sort of formed a group with other volunteers who, like him, I literally just dropped everything and went. They were like, I'm here, whatever I can do for these kids. And he ended up working side by side with a couple of gentlemen who were actually historians at the Alamo in Texas. And he said that what he was so impressed with is that he had trained for situations like that. And he, by the way, said it was, he used everything that he had ever learned during those days where he was, diving into murky water, looking in roots, trying to move trees. And then he parted ways with these gentlemen and wanted to give them one of his challenge coins, but in the chaos, they hadn't sort of connected. And then sometime later, he was actually doing a tour of the Alamo, and both of them were there that day.
Whoa.
And so he gave them his challenge coins. And they have the digital coin too. His is the very first coin that has a physical coin with a digital twin. And his digital twin is on our site, and you can actually watch the video about his career, which is built into the blockchain of the coin. Oh, that's incredible. I love what Eagle Talon wrote. Yeah, it just seemed one of those things where, and I had asked Will, who can you think of that has truly earned a coin from you? And he sort of said those two gentlemen, those coins were earned 1,000%.
Awesome.
And that was a moving story for us to be a tiny part of.
That's an awesome story. Now, what's next for Brav and AllCoin that you're the most excited about?
Ooh, well, we will have coins with digital twins in the White House Navy Mess gift shop, which I'm super stoked about, and that's coming up in the next couple of weeks. Those are the Freedom 250 coins. But there are 30 million challenge coin holders in the US. We are getting all of them on our platform. That's our mission and vision, and we want everyone to connect and share. And we're really passionate about preserving the stories of these coins.
Awesome. And yeah, I'm going to get on there and start uploading mine here soon. So,
I love it.
So, hey, Misfit Nation, I want to thank y'all for joining us tonight. The website is allcoin.brav.co. Get on there. I'm excited to see the coins that you upload, and I'm excited to build a profile and upload my coins. I think that's going to be pretty cool. And I know there's probably people out there that have some of the same, have some different ones. I think this is going to be exciting to get on there and see. Now, if you're out there listening to us tonight and you don't feel like that you want to make it till tomorrow, pick up that phone, dial 988. If you're a veteran, take option 1. Because tomorrow is going to be too beautiful a day for you not to be here with us. Misfit Nation, we love you. If you don't want to call that number, get on that email, contact us. Steven at themisfitnation.com, Jake at themisfitnation.com, or info at themisfitnation.com. Drop a phone number in there. We will get back with you. We love each and every one of you. And without you, there'd be no us. So we want to hear from
you. Yes, sir. Definitely. And don't forget to check us out Saturdays at 5 p.m. Eastern on Race Across America. We're there every week with an episode. Mr. Nation, I want to thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We had great chat. Anna was great. Jake, you even stayed awake, so that's pretty good. Seeing you're old. I'm sorry. I had to throw something at you today.
Well, you had to get me back to the Olive Garden
Yeah, well, that too.
Anna, it has been great. Wish you the greatest success. And if you venture out into something else, let us know. We'll get on here and we'll talk about it.
I love that. Thanks so much.
If any of those 250 coins happen to come our way, that would be pretty cool too.
Ooh, that is.
Did I say that out loud?
I like how you did that, Stephen.
I think they just might find their way over to you.
I just kind of slipped into the room with that one.
I
All right,
love
once
it.
again, a great show tonight. Anna, thank you. Misfit Nation, thank you for hanging out with us for this last hour or so.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling because we are Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.